Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've all had a lovely holiday, a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate, even if it's been a bit different for some people not being with loved ones or travelling where they expected to this year. I hope you've had a chance for some rest and enjoyment and that you're all fit and well. I promised I would talk about my favourites for this year, and sometimes I've done that by dividing them up into categories so that it isn't too long a video. But if I'm honest, this year it's quite difficult for me to say I have had many outstanding favourites that I 100% recommend, because when I was looking back, whilst there are lots of things I want to mention and I've maybe enjoyed, I have to acknowledge that I have worn a lot less makeup this year, and I have kind of stuck to tried and tested skin favourites. Nothing or very few things that are new this year because of the strange circumstances we're in. Lipstick doesn't seem to go too well with mask wearing, and eye makeup, again, just to me, I haven't felt like doing it that often, even though, I'm still working, albeit remotely. Things have just been different this year. So I don't feel I've really got stuck into a lot of the products that I have enjoyed. But I have got ones that I thought I would mention, and a couple, that I definitely do positively recommend. So in the first category, and I've talked about it before, quite recently, in fact, is the Neue Brow. They do eyelash serum. I think they do a hair serum. This is an eyebrow enhancing serum that for me, it definitely has worked. I won't say I didn't have any or really sparse brows, because in the past I've had very generous brows that haven't caused me any problems at all, and I don't even need to define them that much. But that's definitely changed in the last year or so, and I was noticing some sparse bits. This ridiculously expensive product that I've only managed to source in the United States, so it cost even more with taxes and postage, for me has worked, and I definitely would call it one of my definite favourites this year. Another absolute favourite this year, and this is a bit of a cheat because I always recommend the Aromatherapy Associates bath oils. I've been recommending those to you for years, and you know that they're absolutely a favourite of mine. I love a fragrant bath and I love an oily bath. But to kind of cheat, I've had one fragrance this year, Support Equilibrium, which is a new one for me, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, just as I'm enjoying all the old fragrances like the Deep Relax, which is the one I would recommend to anyone who's having difficulties sleeping, relaxing, or just as a starter item, as it were. I think probably the other three other items that I would positively recommend. One's a sort of skincare item. I haven't got a lot of skincare this year to recommend, and that's these Patchology Flash Patch Rejuvenating Eye Gels. I got one sachet of these in a free gift. In fact, I might have got two in different free gifts in the last year, and I really like face masks and eye masks, and I enjoy a lot of them. I really did think these definitely perked up the under eye area and made a difference. Not long lasting, but certainly if you want to go out. So much so I have actually put good money down and bought them. So I would positively recommend. That's my second packet, by the way, that I've actually paid for myself. So that's going some. And then I've already talked about, both of these foundations. The Guerlain Parure Gold I bought for the first time this autumn, and I really, really like it. I have it in shade 11. There isn't a huge shade range, which could be a real disincentive for some people, but this one absolutely matches my skin tone. It's a beautiful creamy lotion formula, lasts really well, doesn't show up in my pores, and doesn't oxidize, and feels really nice on the skin. And I would definitely buy that again. I will say I've recently bought 2 Chanel foundations, which I'm still kind of testing out, so I can't really say much about those yet. So I haven't put those in, but you know that I love the Les Beige water tint. This is the, well, the 3rd bottle, but the I bought the medium. Is it medium shade, having had the very fairest one to wear in the summer. And whilst it's not as good a match to my skin tone, and so oddly doesn't give as much coverage, in fact, as the very light one does, that I've had more than one bottle, the original one. I still like this as well. It's a really, well, it's a different formula to me of any other, so that's a real plus. The other thing that I would positively recommend is this Chanel eyeshadow blender brush. Doesn't have a number, but it's labelled eyeshadow blender. I don't have many very expensive brushes, and I tended towards the Tom Ford eyeshadow ones where I do. But this is just perfect, I think, for the shape and size of my eye. The kind of domey bit there lets me get into what passes for the crease in a crepey eye with a degree of precision, and it just blends beautifully. I don't know why I suddenly decided to put this in my basket when I was buying something else, but I've really enjoyed that. They're about £30, so it's quite a lot to spend on a brush, I suppose. Not many favourites of the nail varnish this year, which is unusual for me. I don't think Chanel had a particularly good year this year. This is Sailor, which is, I suppose, a bog standard medium red, which I did enjoy wearing quite a lot in the summer. It's nice on the tips and toes. Beautiful formula, lasts really well. And of the varnishes I picked up in the advent calendar, I wore this one at Christmas. It's not on my nails now, but I really liked it. I'm not even sure what it is. I think it's Bogota Blackberry, but it could be Merry and Cranberry. It's really difficult to, they're not labelled. There's a little kind of colour code thing on the back of the advent calendar, but I really like that. It reminded me of Chanel's Malice, and it's very pretty. A real well, 2 favourites actually from Tom Ford. I bought quite a few eyeshadow palettes. I liked them all, but I liked these what were they called, Shade and Illuminate palettes. We only got 2 of the 4 here in the UK. This is Rose Cashmere, and I really like this one. I've used it a fair bit, even though the TFs are still there. It's the most kind of versatile of them, kind of slightly nude dippy threesome there. And this corally rose pink, which I don't wear on the eyes. I can actually use that as a blush. So it's quite a good one for travel. Not that we are travelling very much at the moment. And then actually my favourite is this one, which was called Moonlit Violet. And some really pretty, you can see I have done some damage to those 2 there, but all of the colours, including the purple, are just beautiful, cool tones. The shader is a bit too dark for contouring on me, but I could use it on the eyes. And this is a really pretty highlighter. It's probably my favourite highlighter of this year. Just a nice silvery. So I did enjoy that. Another eyeshadow palette that I've worn a little bit. I haven't worn much eyeshadow and quite enjoyed. Again, I don't know quite why I bought this. A MAC palette that I just fancied when I saw it. It's called the Art Library Nude Model. think it's still on the website, and show you just a nice selection of textures and neutrals. I'd forgotten how good a basic MAC palette can be, to be honest. Of the collections from Chanel, I was kind of disappointed this year. I'm not really into all these red eyeshadows. And I was initially very underwhelmed by the Christmas collection. But I did find myself going back to it quite a few times. And I didn't end up buying 2 of the singles. And I know that my mum bought me another one for Christmas, which I haven't got yet because I didn't see her due to the restrictions. It doesn't look as if I've made a lot of damage on this, but this is the one I've worn the most. Just a very neutral gold wash, which is actually just quite pretty, particularly with a red lip. Although in reality, of the lipsticks, this one, which I got quite late in the day, the Or Beige, is the one that I have worn the most, although not a lot. It's a nice kind of shimmery, warm, neutral-ish lipstick. I bought quite a few of the Hermes, well, I bought 4 of the Hermes lipsticks. 2 of them I literally ordered just as lockdown was happening. One of them arrived before, one of them arrived a long time after. That's neither of these. This is the one I've worn the most, which is the Kalahari Beige. They're a beautiful formula and beautiful kind of production values. So lovely present for somebody. But I have to say, lipsticks just haven't worn a lot this year. I had to show the gorgeous Tom Ford Christmas Frost one, which every time I get it out, it's just so pretty. But you can see I've forgotten to wear it, which I take it out and just enjoy how pretty it looks, because I'm a glitter fan occasionally, but just haven't had the occasions to wear it much. The only Charlotte Tilbury to make the list this year is, now, I'm not even sure what this is. Is it one of the Pillow Talk ones? It's just a really pretty, shimmery gold pink, which I have worn a bit. Kind of my lips, but more shiny. I will mention here the Lisa Eldridge, which everyone was very excited about, and I did buy a couple, including the gloss, which I've barely used, and one of the new collections again. Actually, I think this is the one from the original release. They are nice, but they've been that was the kind of set it came in. There've been so many good lipstick releases this year that, I don't know, it's just kind of fallen by the wayside for me. Gucci released another set of makeup this year. I bought several items and I didn't really like any of them except for this beautiful powder compact, which I have in my handbag, which again, as my handbag is hardly ever going out with me, you can see I have actually used it a few times, but I have a little brush rather than the sponge, which is under here, and I haven't really used that. So if I remember, then I do powder, and I just love the packaging. It's the only kind of powder product. I don't use a lot of powder, to be fair, that I've bought into this year. Dior brought out a whole new range of eye collections, and I bought a few. To be honest, I'm not as enamoured as everyone else seems to be. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them. They are a beautiful formulation and some nice colour palettes. I think I just have so many Tom Ford ones, and I don't think they're a superior consistency or texture to Tom Ford by and large. I think the Tom Ford, particularly the wet and dry, is a nicer formula, although these are beautiful formulas. And there's something about the Tom Ford quads, by and large, the juxtaposition of the colours and textures that they manage, which I prefer. I was, for example, fairly faintly disappointed with, what's it called? Cashmere something or other. The one that everyone said was like Nude Dip. I mean, the colourway is like Nude Dip, but when I did an eye with it, I felt that they all mashed together in a bit of a kind of murky mess after a few hours of wearing, which doesn't happen with Nude Dip. My favourite of the ones that I got was Black Bow, just for one colour really. This beautiful silver at the bottom, which is really stunning. I've got Snow Queen and ones like that in the Tom Ford, but nothing quite as metallic and pretty as that. So that's one that I definitely don't regret buying. But overall, I won't say the Dior left me cold, because they are nice palettes and beautiful consistency. But if I had to choose between Dior and Tom Ford, I'd still go for Tom Ford. Only one new fragrance to make a kind of favourites list this year, and it was is it Lost Cherry? I always want to call it it's Bitter Peach Lost Cherry. It's not my favourite, but it is a really nice, creamy, slightly almondy. I don't get the cherry apart from in the first hit very much. A gourmand fragrance, which is nice, particularly at this time of year. And I think I probably would buy again. Back to Dior, I didn't get many nice blushes this year, but I liked this, which wasn't actually sold as a blush. Well, it was, sorry. It's the Dior Skin Nude Illuminizer blush. So it's quite glittery. Looks very dark in the pan, but actually is a very flattering, slightly plummy colour, but just a nice pink. I got a coral one as well, which is nice, but I prefer this colourway, as it were. I thought I'd better mention Barbara Sturm, because I had all those products, and this is my second bottle actually. Somebody gave me a little one as a stocking filler. This is the hyaluronic serum. It is a really fantastic serum. I do like how my skin feels after using this, which I kind of use as a treat when I'm feeling very dry skinned. I just don't think it's so much better than the other hyaluronics out there to justify the extremely expensive price tag, given hyaluronic serums don't need to be that expensive, but it is a beautiful product, so it makes it on that basis. And finally, finish with a cheapie. I tried all sorts of eyebrow enhancers, pencils, powders I have used in the past. They're not so good when your eyebrows aren't as dense, I discovered. And the various ones, including the Charlotte Tilbury and Anastasia. And I ended up liking this cheap Makeup Revolution one, which is well under a tenner. Nice little wand, does the trick. Better, to be honest. It doesn't leave your eyebrows kind of as brittle as the others tend to. So sometimes a cheapie works out, but mostly, it has to be said, I spend far too much money on makeup. Don't we all? Love to hear if any of you have any favourites that I haven't covered, or perhaps some of these that you don't feel the same about. I hope to get back to you with my views on the Chanel foundations fairly soon. And definitely to say goodbye to you before the new year. So look out for that. But until then, bye for now.